What if I told you that food during slavery wasn't just about survival, it was part of an entire economic system? What if every crop planted, every meal prepared, and every ingredient used was connected to profit, power, and control? Because the truth is, food during slavery wasn't just something people ate. It helped shape wealth, labor, and entire economies. And once you understand how it worked, you'll never look at food history the same way again. To understand the economics of food during slavery, we have to look at the bigger picture. Plantations weren't just farms, they were businesses. Large-scale operations built to produce valuable crops for profit. Tobacco, rice, sugar, and cotton weren't grown randomly, they were chosen because they had high value in global markets. And behind all of this was forced labor. Enslaved men, women, and children planted, harvested, processed, and sometimes transported these crops. Their labor created enormous wealth, but they didn't share in it. The system was designed to extract as much value as possible while giving as little as necessary in return. That includes food. The food given to enslaved people was part of that calculation. It wasn't meant for comfort or variety, it was just enough to sustain labor. Rations were often limited and repetitive, usually cornmeal, salted meat, and small portions of other ingredients. But even within those limits, people adapted. Enslaved individuals sometimes grew small gardens, raising vegetables or herbs to supplement their diets. Hunting, fishing, or foraging, when possible, helped expand what they could eat. These efforts weren't just about food, they were about survival. At the same time, plantation economies depended heavily on food production beyond cash crops. In regions like the Carolinas, rice became a major export. Enslaved Africans brought knowledge of rice cultivation from West Africa, making large-scale production possible. Their expertise increased profits, but without recognition or reward. Food was also a tool of control. Rations could be used to reward, punish, or enforce discipline. Access to better food sometimes depended on obedience or performance, reinforcing power within the system. Even the kitchens played a role. Enslaved cooks prepared meals for large households, managing resources and planning efficiently. Their work required skill and organization, yet it remained unrecognized and unpaid. At the same time, the food served to plantation owners was very different. Higher quality, more variety, more refinement, while enslaved people received basic rations. This contrast reflected the larger inequality built into the system. But here's where it gets more complex. Some enslaved individuals were able to sell food. Surplus from small gardens or prepared dishes could sometimes be sold or traded. This created small opportunities to earn money, save, or exchange goods, limited but meaningful. Over time, these small exchanges helped build local food economies. Markets, roadside sales, and informal trade networks developed. Enslaved and later freed individuals used their skills to create small businesses. Food became one of the few ways to participate economically, even within restrictions. After emancipation, this knowledge didn't disappear. Many formerly enslaved people continued working in agriculture and food trades, becoming farmers, vendors, and cooks. The skills developed under hardship became tools for survival in a new, though still unequal, system. But the larger economic impact remained. Wealth from plantation agriculture fueled broader economic growth, while the people who made it possible were excluded from that wealth. The gap between contribution and reward stayed. And that's a key part of the story. Because when we talk about the economics of food during slavery, we're not just talking about meals. We're talking about a system where food, labor, and profit were deeply connected, built on inequality. At the same time, we're also talking about resilience. Even within control, people adapted, created, and preserved knowledge that would shape future generations. Today, many food traditions still reflect that history, the crops, the techniques, the flavors. But the deeper story is often overlooked. And that's why understanding it matters. It shows how food, labor, and economics have always been connected. It reminds us that behind every dish, there's a story shaped by real people and real systems. So next time you think about food history, think beyond recipes. Think about the labor, the systems, and the people behind it. Because food isn't just taste, it's economics, history, and human experience. If this made you think, hit like, subscribe, and share this video, because conversations like this matter. And tell me in the comments, what part of this history stood out to you the most? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.